Hello. Sorry if I don't sound enthusiastic. This is my third time trying to record this intro. So today is gonna be our patch rundown. So it's patch 14.9. These are from Mortdog's YouTube channel. You can see his head poking through behind mine. Please make sure to follow Mortdog. He's a Riot dev. He has a lot of knowledge about the game, and this is how you can stay up to date with some of the upcoming changes. Obviously, if you watch my content and you enjoy my content, I do these patch rundowns because I want to interpret them for myself, as well as give my interpretation to everybody here and give you guys an outlet of information since you're already subscribed and or watching my content anyways. That being said, let's go over some of the small updates because it's a top of the week kind of rundown. I usually do like updates for the channel and everything. We hit our subscriber goal of 200. At 200, I was going to give an RP giveaway. I'm not sure exactly how much RP it is. It's going to translate to like 15 Canadian. I think it's like 1300 RP or something like that. For information of how to enter, I will start posting the information tomorrow. I have to decide exactly how I'm going to do the giveaway. I will post it in every single one of my videos for the week because I do daily content, and I will also make YouTube posts about it. So there'll be lots of information to reach you guys. Don't worry. If you want to enter and you can enter, you will enter. But just stay tuned for the upcoming week. I'll say exactly how to do it, and we'll do the giveaway next weekend. That is at least my goal. But yeah, we're doing great. Even if you look at the last couple days, like we are really like, you guys are really enjoying this set and information on this set in particular. Set 9 was not very fun for, was not a big, set 10 wasn't really as popular, I guess, which is pretty cool. Then update on my, I just wanted to give an update that I tried grinding a little bit. Before I was Emerald, I just didn't play the game because I was busy with other stuff. I had a little bit of spare time this week, so I just like grinded as much as I could. I had a little mishap towards the end because I went a little bit too late into the night and definitely lost a little bit of LP. But I want to try and quickly get masters before the end of the weekend. But for those that don't know, my channel started as like an art channel, not this YouTube channel, just in terms of streaming and content creation. I have an art convention at the end of May, so I'm actually really busy, so my whole room is a mess. I've been painting all weekend and stuff like that. I'm just showing off my Instagram. I don't post that much because I wait till all my art is finished, and I usually just post everything in June. But yeah, so because I'm doing that, there's a chance that I don't play as much TFT. I'll still do daily uploads, I'll still do daily content, I'll play like games to make sure that I have the daily uploads. I just can't like dedicate like, okay, I need to like study, grind up, and hit master. Really, like, that might happen a little bit later. Hopefully it happens soon. Anyways, now on to the actual patch stuff. Sorry about that fast intro. Actual patch stuff. So one of the biggest problems with the one of the biggest problems in the previous patch was 4 cost 3 stars. So I don't know if it happened a lot in your lobbies, but in my lobbies, the game was often decided by somebody just having a 3-star 4 cost unit. And what usually happened was it was like, because a lot of people would like buy 4 costs and the pool sizes were kind of small, everything would kind of thin down at level 9 and level 8, that like somebody would just natural a bunch of copies of a 4 cost, and then out of nowhere they just win the lobby, and it was kind of annoying. I'm used to like 3-star 4 costs being like a rare thing, like some kind of giga high roll, but it felt like it's happening like almost every game, and it felt almost like you had to play around it happening, if that makes sense, right? Like a lot of times I would play for like a second, like a lot of when I was grinding, I would just be like, yeah, I'll just take a guaranteed second because I can't know if someone's gonna high roll a 4 cost, and I feel like that's kind of lame. What they wanted to do, they announced this earlier in the week, they're doing these 3 system changes, so these big game level changes in order to address this. The first thing is increased player damage, so on stage 3, 4, and 5. So the idea is that, like, especially if you're greeding, like if you're greeding to go 9, or you're trying to save up a large amount of money, like a big bank to roll down, it's forced you to use your gold a little bit earlier, because trying to put pressure on the lobby and the players in the lobby to be strong by increasing the amount of damage. It's not by that much, so I don't think it's gonna like greatly change things. It just hurts like the giga greeders, right? Because a lot of times there's people that are like, oh, I'll just like do nothing until I'm 1 HP and then I'll just roll down all my gold, and those people are so annoying. So I think that's a good change. I always like increased player damage. Like I always stand on Lethal Legend. Like I find those lobbies, like when there's like faster tempo and it forces people to like make strong boards, like that's the kind of TFT I like. I hate it when like somebody like giga greeds and then high rolls. It's like, it's so annoying. I like it like you play like aggressive, right? I usually spend my gold really aggressively, and I in sake of saving econ. Shop odds, this one's a big change. So they're decreasing the shop odds on level 8 and level 9 for 4 costs, and they're transitioning that to some lower levels like 2 and 3 costs. This one's scary. Like imagine those games where you're looking for like one particular 4 cost and you just don't hit it, and you're like, god damn it, I just needed like 1 copy of Ash and I would have won this game, and I couldn't find a single copy of Ash and now I lost the game, right? Like obviously you should never be like hard tunnel vision on like one particular unit, but decreasing the shop odds, it might make those situations happen a little bit more. Also, putting it on like a lower level, like a 2 cost, it also concerns me, because if the 4 costs become unreliable to hit, so let's say this, like we don't know yet, it might be fine, but if a 4 cost becomes unreliable on level 8, right, then what this usually does is it makes reroll strong, right? Rerolls are strong under 2 conditions: lobby reroll and comp strong, which we'll talk about after. We don't know if there's strong reroll comps, but usually like if a lot of people are like going 8, or a lot of people don't favor going 8 because they like the shop odds, like I don't know how this will play out. It's only 2%, maybe this isn't a real deal, but a lot of times like when you alter the shop odds like this, rerolls become more prevalent because you don't want to take the risk of going 8 and missing. And if more people are rerolling, then more people are buying low cost units, and if more people are buying low cost units, then it makes it easier for you to find the particular low cost units that you want. And that's why like lobby rerolls become really strong if like the lobbies are rerolling, so if your whole lobby is playing reroll, and if there's strong reroll comps that you can play around. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn into like a 2 cost reroll meta, right? Especially putting it on 2 costs. It's kind of scary because a lot of times with 2 costs, you want to hit like multiple 3 stars, like think like Kindred Gnar, and then you want to like level to put in like the 4 costs that matter. If you hit like, if you have like 27% chance of finding like a 2-star on, if you keep adding odds, like even last patch they added odds to 2-star on level 7, it could be like very favorable. Like if you hit like Kindred 3 and you have Gnar 2, you just start pumping levels because you're relatively stable, and you can probably find that copy after, or you'll be relatively stable with like the 4 cost. I don't know, it just seems weird, but hopefully it's fine. We'll see. The other one is XP change, going to level 9 and going to level 10. They just made it easier to go to level 10, they made it harder to go to level 9. That's fine, but these are what they tried to address. Hopefully there's less 3-star 4 costs in the game, you know. We'll see what happens. Double up, I don't really care about. I don't play double up. None of my friends want to play with me, but that's okay. So we'll just play other stuff. Encounters. Oh baby, this one's a good one for me. Oh, they listened. Okay, so first of all, Ari less player health. Okay, sure, that's fine. Irelia, I haven't seen. I think I saw Irelia once, and it was in PBE. And I've never seen Irelia. It's very low odds, but basically Irelia is the one where it gives you like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cost. Right, like your shop has 1 of each, and it gave you 6 free rerolls. So a lot of times people would just reroll 6 times and they would get like a 2-star 5 cost for free, and it was like, and that kind of determined the game. So they reduced the amount of free rolls, so that's not as like crazy. Fallen encounters will appear more often, so they made the Kayn one more often. I already had Kayn like 3 times, so some people like say that it never shows up. I've had it like 3 times. There's a YouTube video on my channel very recently about my Kayn game and how I played around it, so you can check that out if you're interested. And then Ornn, choose an artifact. I've seen this one a lot too. I've seen Ornn a lot, like a lot, but okay. I'm okay with these ones appearing more often. The following encounters will appear less often. Yeah, this Cho'Gath one is such a grief. I'm glad that this one's not appearing as often. That one appears a lot. Diana, I mean, this one doesn't matter to me. Irelia doesn't. Oh, Irelia, this one's kind of annoying, but it's okay. The Nico's okay. Teemo's annoying. Thank God. I hate this Teemo one. I would have liked this one removed, but it's okay. Wukong, Radiant Item Carousel. Yeah, these are all fine. This is the big one. This is the big one. If you've seen me on this channel, oh baby, oh wait. Get the fuck out of here, Kha'Zix. Oh, I'm so fucking happy. Oh, fuck that. Fuck this one. This one sucked. This one was so bad. Holy shit, they just removed it from the game. They're not even gonna fix it. Fuck this one. You remove the 1-star Kha'Zix too. I'm down. Remove 1-star. I don't even want to be reminded of this shit. This was the biggest grief ever. Like, oh my god. Like, anytime this guy shows up, it was like, I'm fucking like, great. The game's just fucking over. Either for me or for somebody else. Okay. Basically what Kha'Zix did is it made it easier to level up, right? And the problem is like it always it's always a giga high roll for somebody, right? Like, I'm okay with like some of them being like, you know, somewhat of a high roll. Like, everybody can use something in some way, right? Like, at least the Yorick one, it favors the reroll. It makes rerolls like 1 less, but it allows you to like upgrade your units, right? So it's like usable. The thing with Kha'Zix is like, if you were a reroll, you couldn't use it. If you already spent your gold to level up, you couldn't use it. So it only favored people that were completely greeding and maximize econ. Like, this guy just shows up and all of a sudden like 3 people in the lobby are level 9, insta win the game. It doesn't matter what their spot was before, they just won out for free. Or like some jackass like finish rerolling, like myself. I'm saying jackass because I'm talking about myself, has like lucky pause if you watched yesterday's video, and then out of nowhere Kha'Zix shows up and I'm a level 10 and I win for free. It was so annoying. Like, I'm annoyed by it because not only was it like, I'm not annoyed because it was like good for other people and I'm like bitching. Even when it was good for me, it was just such a bad thing for the game. I just didn't enjoy it. It was like, oh, I just win for free. It's like, oh, let's just remove any variable. It's just so dumb. Okay, I'm done. I'm done bitching over. Cho'Gath one fucking sucked. That too just gives you a greater duplicator, and all of a sudden people had 3-star 4 cost. That one sucked. Or two lesser for like a reroll. Nico sucked, and Syndra sucked. These all sucked. All of these made it like, oh, I just get a free 4 cost, 3-star 4 cost. It was annoying. So good riddance. Goodbye. All right. Trait buffs. Arcanist is getting a buff. I felt like Arcanist reroll even in the last patch was pretty good. And now that they're making 4 costs a little bit less reliable, you might see Lux reroll a little bit more. Because Lux, you really want to roll on 7 and they fix that problem. And then you want to roll on 8 maybe to like try and find a Syndra and a Lysandra, and both of those kind of work out. It's Lux / Zoe. I usually play this line as like vertical Arcanist, and they increase the AP and the team AP, which is actually really big. It's not that much of a huge jump, like 85 to 90, but the team AP from 40 to 50 is pretty big, because like Amumu in that comp really wanted AP, and now it helps buff him. So yeah, that's great. I love this. That's a comp that that's a secret comp that not secret, but that's like a really low played comp that if you have a spot for it is actually very strong. Like, even in last patch where everybody was like giga capping around 4 stars, I was able to get like a 3rd and a 4th and a 2nd pretty easily by just like sending it for Zoe or Lux. So I really like that comp. I've talked about it before. There's videos on my channel. Dryad, they made 6 Dryad weaker. Yeah, 6 Dryad was like giga broken. That's a good change. It doesn't change anything about the rest of the comp. So I think the comp is Dryad. I really like the comp because even though it's a reroll, you have to have a really good spot for it, because you need to have Dryad in early to get the stacks, then make you strong late game, especially on the Gnar that scales. So it makes sense, just nerf the 6 Dryad and keep it the same. So if you have a Dryad spot, you can play it. If you get mulched, you can play it. But if you don't have either of those conditions, you can't really pivot into it or play it without like going like 5th at best. Duelist, small changes to the middle of it. I don't know if Duelist is going to be relevant. It all depends on if 4 cost is still viable, because if everybody's like rolling for 3 stars again, 3-star 3 cost, then maybe it becomes back in the meta. Omnivamp changes. I don't really know what any of this means because I barely ever play set. But yeah, it's like they increased the Omnivamp, but now it applies after resistances. Before it was applying before, and I think that was like bugged, and it gave him like more Omnivamp or something. Fortune, this one's big. It kind of makes me sad because I fucked up my 7 Fortune game that I didn't get to play the 9 Fortune. But yeah, if you got 7 Fortune, it was a free win. I posted a video about it on my channel as well, if you want to see what I mean. But basically, when you're at 7 Fortune, you would infinitely gain bonus stacks even if you won. So, and then you would also get a cash out every turn. So now they changed the cash out to be half as much, and they changed the bonus stacks to be less. I don't know if this is like the starting bonus stacks or like always the bonus stacks. I think it's the starting one, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's like it resets on a win. But yeah, it's like they want to make it so it's not like an insta win out. The thing is, I'm okay with 7 Fortune being an insta win out because you need 2 uncraftable spats. Like the only time it ever happened to me was in Loot Subscription. But Loot Subscription is a fucked up game like that anyways, right? Like there's gonna be like 10 mythics. Sometimes there's 10 Story Weaver, right? Like if you have like if you're playing in a Loot Subscription, you gotta be ready for some crazy shit to happen. I've never seen 7 Fortune in a non-Loot Subscription game, right? So I don't understand. I understand that they have to nerf it a little bit. I don't know if that's too much, but I think 7 Fortune should be a win out anyways because it's 2 uncraftable spats, right? To me it seems really dumb if you hit 7 Fortune and then you lose next turn, and you like, I guess it makes it like you should still be able to win from any spot with 7 Fortune because you don't need to get the max cash out, so I guess it's fine. But it's just like, it's like, really, that's what we're nerfing? I don't know, it doesn't seem like that. And they adjusted the options at higher cash out, so I have to now look at the Fortune table again. Great, I have to learn some shit again. That's fine, you know, it's all good. That's just my take on it. Traits, so this is a big one. I thought they were also going to do a Ghostly change. Apparently they were PB testing Ghostly as well, but I guess they decided not to ship this one. But this is what I was talking about with Heavenly. So they actually made it a little bit less. Before it was 100%, but now basically Heavenly no longer scales with the star levels. It gives 70% more to Heavenly units in particular, and then they reduced the bonus stacks on every single level of Heavenly by quite a bit, right? Like if you look, it's like by 20 or 30 at each stage, right? And then the Omnivamp from the spat is also less. So what does this mean? It means that there's going to be significantly less stats given to non-Heavenly units. I think they still get some stats, right? They just get these bonus stats, if I'm not mistaken. I remember when I was reading it originally, like from leaks, somebody said that they were going to get no stats. And that was a huge change. But here, it's like just Heavenly gets 70% more. It might turn into like a secret demon is Kiana. If you've ever seen Kiana, I've itemized Kiana mid-game to stabilize if I don't hit like a Kayn and a Lee Sin too. I just itemized the Kiana. Kiana's a demon. If Kiana gets a bunch of Heavenly stats, it might just turn into Kiana reroll. You might just play Kiana reroll Duelist, 7 Heavenly, or some shit like that. And I think that's going to be a demon comp. Because 70% more stats is a lot. It's a lot. Like, it's almost as much as like 2-starring or 3-starring some units, right? So be ready for Kiana reroll, I think. I think that might be a thing. Story Weaver. This is the damage to all KLs is buffed, and the attack speed is buffed. So I felt like the attack speed was already fine as it is, but you know, we'll take it. Umbral, they increase the execute threshold, so hopefully 6 Umbral is something winnable or usable. The only time I ever play 6 Umbral is like if you have Wrath of the Moon and you play a Loon carry. I think that's like still a viable comp. I haven't had the chance to play it because I haven't had Wrath of the Moon, but other than that, I still don't see a reason to play Umbral. But maybe it turns into something where Umbral is really broken. I think a Loon is like secret really strong. It's just like nobody really knows what to do yet, and I can't really figure it out. I just know that like Wrath of the Moon, a Loon can place pretty high. Champ changes. All right, we're on champ changes. Okay, so Darius is like the most broken 1 cost. Usually if you had 1-star or 2-star, they reduced it a little bit. It's not by that much, but it should make him a little bit less of like a guaranteed streak. So that's nice. They talked about like, oh, we're making AD Riven. Be ready for like Riven reroll. I don't understand why. I talked about it last time there was the patch notes. Every time I do these patch notes, Like, they have this philosophy, I feel like, with the game design, where it's like everything has to be rerollable. Like, everything can be a carry. It's like, no, it doesn't. It's like, inherently in the game, there are way more 1 costs, 2 costs, and 3 costs, right? If you make them all viable, it just turns into a reroll meta, and you basically never go 9, or you never go for like the high level units. And like, I feel like it reduces a lot of the flex play, because if you're going for like a 1 cost or a 2 cost reroll, you have to commit really early. So you can't like flex around something else. It's not like you can roll down at level 6 and say, I'll play Riven or something else. It's like, no, if you're in a reroll spot for Riven, then you have to just commit to a Riven line. And I hate committing early. I like having like the idea that you can like slot in like Lego pieces, all these different unique boards. And I think that only happens at like higher levels, right? Like if you're level 8, level 9, level 10, right? Even maybe level 7, right? But if you're like rolling at like really low levels, it's like you're rarely like making some like crazy unique board, right? Like you can barely fit in Exalted on level 6 or level 7, right? In like a meaningful way, stuff like that. So that's why I dislike rerolls. But anyways, Riven reroll might happen. I kind of like Riven reroll last set. I think this set, the new Riven reroll comp is Dryad, which is why I enjoy it. It feels very much like the same tempo and pacing as that one. But yeah, be ready that this might actually do damage now. Riven with Bruiser setup also seemed kind of crazy. I remember in PBE, Bruiser was not as like Bruiser got nerfed from PBE to live, and in PBE there was like a Riven reroll comp where you played like vertical Bruiser with that. So it'll probably look something like that, like vertical Bruiser altruist, and then her altruist does crazy healing to all the bruisers, and they all have giga HP. Anyways, Kog'Maw, they increased ability damage. I don't know why. I felt like Kog'Maw, I feel like if someone had a good Kog'Maw reroll spot, a lot of times they would get top 4. And I think that's fine for a 1 cost, right? But they're buffing it, so it's like, I guess he becomes even stronger now. Cool. Okay, champs. They increased the attack speed for Elune. That's pretty big. This was one of her major nerfs out of PBE. Because in PBE, Elune was like the most broken unit in the game by far, and they like giga nerfed her before live. And this attack speed was really important, because it gives attack speed to her, but it also splits across her entire back row, so she becomes really good to just splash on your board. So it's not only like 0.5 attack speed, it's like 0.25 to like a secondary carry if you're playing her with somebody else, which is really big, right? It's not just like, you know, it's not just her quality of life improvement, it's like her support to whole team improvement. Bard increased AD, that's fine. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of Bard rerolls, but I think 3 cost rerolls, they kind of really axed it, and I think that's fine, because the patch right before this one was all 3 cost rerolls, and I was kind of sick of it. So thank fucking God, get out of my game, you know. I'm happy to see something new. Tristana, they made it more that she scales more with AD instead of AP. I always built her as AD anyways. I know that she had like a really high AP ratio, but I rarely put AP items on her, because if I had AP items, I just put on Volibear, right? When I used to play Duelist. I played Duelist a lot. I actually figured out, I don't want to say I figured it out, but I knew that Duelist was strong because of PBE, and I knew that Volibear was really strong. So I was spamming Duelist reroll before everybody was playing Duelist reroll, right? Like right out of PBE, as soon as the game started, I was playing Duelist reroll, because I just knew it was strong. And then like it caught on to like everybody knowing it was strong, and then everybody started spamming Volibear, and then it got giga nerfed. Now nobody plays it. Whatever. Maybe it will be playable again. I still haven't done a Duelist video, which is kind of funny considering I played it so much back when I was like early set, like doing my placements and stuff like that. Zoe got like giga buffed. Everything is green here. Like what the fuck? The ricochet damage 10% more, ability damage up by like 50%. Zoe reroll is gonna be broken. They even buffed Arcanist. You can just play vertical Zoe with Lux. Like that happens a lot. I think my Arcanist comp is gonna be meta. That's gonna suck, because I like playing it when nobody's playing it, and now I'm gonna be contested. But it's okay. Be ready. Zoe rerolls might be really strong. She was already very strong, right? The reason these changes are big is because like I've already gotten like when everybody's like playing. People are playing Heavenly Kayn, and all these comps that people are like complaining about, and I'm playing Lux reroll in my lobby and I'm still getting like top 4, top 3, top 2, right? And now they're buffing units in that comp. It's like, if I feel like I'm playing a comp that can get an easy guaranteed top 4 or a guaranteed top 3, and they're buffing the units, that's what makes it broken. That's why I'm kind of exasperated by what the fuck is this? Hello? But we'll see. Maybe it's not that big of a change. This is a big change though. Armor reduction, because he's already losing a bunch of stats because of the heavenly changes, right, that we just talked about. Reducing his base armor and MR is huge, because there's so many times that Kayn just barely lives, and this is like so massive, right? So I think Kayn might be like he might be like in a more normal spot where you can't just play Kayn, you have to like play it from a good spot. But I think that comp is kind of gonna get a little bit axed. Morgana is becoming more reliable. I don't think that helps Heavenly as much as it helps like Morgana. If you haven't seen it, there's a Morgana plus Silas comp, which is really like strong. It's like Silas Sages, so you play Sages with Bruiser. It's similar to like when I do Kabuko and I talk about playing Sage with Silas. But the idea is that Morgana kind of whittles down the opponents long enough for Silas, who's like a tank that does a bunch of damage, to make his way around. Because the Silas is going to be really hard to kill, so it's like a stall comp. Similar to like Ghostly, where like the fight has to last really long. So if Morgana is more likely to cast at the clump instead of like casting in awkward spots, it will help out the Silas a lot in spreading out the damage. And then I think it buffs this comp a lot. So I think this Morgana Silas Sage comp is going to be a really viable comp. I haven't had a chance to try it. It is very good. It's very strong this patch, so if you haven't seen it, be ready to see it. Syndra, more starting orbs, I think that's good. Syndra is very strong in certain setups, so I think this makes her like just a little bit more playable outside of those faded setups, but it might make faded a problem. We'll see. And then Lissandra, she was the most broken unit in the game. Yeah, she needed an HP nerf, she needed a loot drop nerf. Yeah, fuck it. She still stuns the opponent, which is like the main thing, but a little bit less HP makes sure that she probably doesn't get a double cast off, especially if she's a Lissandra 1. But like the teapotting like a big tank or a melee carry, yeah, she was like a guaranteed play for first. I don't think she's like unplayable now. I think she'll still be really strong. I don't think that changes. Alright, here's the big changes. If you haven't seen it, they're going to add a bunch of new support items and a bunch of new artifacts. Now, I don't really like when they add more items to the game, because whenever they add more items to the game, I feel like it's just harder to hit like certain items that you want. Like for example, like this is really good if you take it early. Like if you take a support item early, like there's some support items that are kind of like a miss, right? I don't know how broken all of these are. I'm not going to read them in this video. I'll leave it up, pause the video, and you can read them for yourself. I have no indication of whether or not they're going to be strong, right? One of them gives like wounding and extra damage for 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, so it's basically like 7% more damage. I think Eternal Flame is going to be really good, but that's only if you don't have anti-heal already, right? That's the thing, like they're very situational. If you don't have anti-heal, then yeah, Eternal Flame is broken as shit, right? But if you have anti-heal, it's like a lot less value. But the extra damage dealing is huge. This Knight's Vow is like alright, right? It's like a positioning based omnivamp. It's gonna be like really broken with like a melee carry, but that's the thing, it's like it's good if you're like playing melee carry. If you're not playing melee carry, it's useless, right? Moonstone Renewer, every 4 seconds, shield the lowest 2% health. This one seems more generic, that it's like good in general. And I think Spite as well is like very generic. Yeah, it's like generic like damage reduction. Spite might be good for like somebody who dives the backline, if there's like a backline diving unit, which is pretty cool. So something like a Yone might be good with Spite, just to like guarantee the carry doesn't do anything. And then this treasure chest seems like there's some of them that are generically good and there's some of them that are situationally good, right? Like I don't know. That's what I mean. It's hard to judge. And then they're adding new artifacts, right? So the artifacts, there's a lot. I'm not going to go through them all. There's too many to go through. I went through the supports because I realized that the supports was just one page. These are the ones I'm not going through. You can read through them. I don't know which is the most broken that I saw. I think I always like rapid fire cannon from the previous sets. Now they brought it back as an artifact, which is kind of crazy. Mitten seems really silly and funny because I think it's cute. So I'm probably always gonna take mittens because I just imagine some kind of like ugly monster thing wearing mittens, and I think that's cute. But yeah, I don't have the time to go through each of these individually for you guys because then the video is gonna take forever. Pause the video and you can look at them. I'll wait 2 seconds on each one and you can read them. On this page, suspicious trench coat sounds kind of nuts. On this page, I like mittens because mittens are cute and I'm Canadian and it's cold outside. On this page, I like Seeker's arm guard because this sounds like Silas 101. Like if you see Seekers and you put on Silas, I think this is just fucking crazy. On this page, I like Wits End. Alright, augments. Rain and gold. Reduce the gold, that's good. I don't like it. Slammin', reduce the EXP. That's fine. Both of these need a small nerf. I think that's fine. Prismatics, Accomplice, gives less gold. Build-A-Bud gives more gold. Build-A-Bud was a very hit or miss. I had a Build-A-Bud game recently. It kind of sucks because I got Kabuko. So I'm waiting to upload it because I want to have some space in between like the last Kabuko video I did, which was yesterday, and the Build-A-Bud video. But Build-A-Bud is very hit or miss because sometimes you hit like a non... It all comes down to if your Build-A-Bud can help you streak, right? If your Build-A-Bud doesn't streak you, then you're just like, it feels like you're just down a Prismatic because you're broke. You have some random fucking 3-star that you're trying to build around, and like you didn't even win all the fights, right? Call to Chaos, they reduce some of the cash outs. 3-star 3 cost, they gave more gold. I think that's fine. This one was the one I hated the most, and these ones were also really fucking strong, so they just nerfed it a little bit. It might make Call of Chaos a little bit less reliable. Going long, they increased the gold, that's fine. Infernal Contract, they disabled it. I don't know why. I guess it was kind of broken, but it wasn't like that insane. Anyways, other artifact changes. So now what they did is they changed the blacksmith's gloves, so it gives some crit. That makes it a lot more reliable. I feel like you almost never take blacksmith's gloves even as the augment because it felt like it did nothing, but giving HP and crit is really good. The disabled Goldmancer's Staff, Mogul's Mail, these are great because I usually never take these ones and they're usually pretty bad, so disabling them is good. One of the big changes that people don't talk about with the artifact and support item changes is that I really hate it when there's like a lot of items because it makes it really hard to hit the ones that you want, and sometimes you just get a bunch of shit, right? So they add a bunch of artifacts, that's good. Like one of the worst ones you would always see is like if you just get Deathfire Grass, right? The support item ones are also whack because sometimes there's things that randomly give you support items. So it's like, imagine if you get randomly, it makes it like that you have to take these augments a lot earlier in the game. Because like you don't want to be like stage 4, you get a silver augment and it's like gain a fucking support item. It's like, well, like, what do I do if I get one that does nothing for me, right? You know what I mean? So it makes it like that you want to take them earlier before you start building your items in your team so that you can play around the items more, which I think is fine, but it's just like, you know, I like options late game as well as early game. Because I feel like there's already a lot of options early game. Portal Pull Forward now gives 4 options. That's like reverting from like set 9. Set 9 they made the change that it gave less options because it was broken because of the Ornn legend. So now they're giving you more options back, so that's cool. It's like legacy. Like legacy nerf. reverted. And then Portable Forge, plus and plus plus are disabled. I guess it's just because of the changes to the artifact. They thought that it was too strong later. Okay, so augments. Over encumbered, less bench spots, good. It needed a small nerf. Pumping up, nerfed. It needed a small nerf. Triforce, more HP seems pretty strong, if I'm not mistaken. Big gains, they start with more HP. I felt like big gains was already pretty strong, so that's pretty cool. Built diff, huge nerfs. That's good because it needed nerfs, specifically like the later stage ones, because it was very, very strong. Call to adventure, giving you some extra buffs, so it was pretty bad in stats. Dragon Spirit, I felt like I never take this because this 8,000 threshold is really high, so making it 7,000 is pretty good, so I like that change. Dynamic Duel, more gold. Learning to spell, a little bit more HP. Learning to spell into Arcanist reroll probably is like a guaranteed like top 4 now, right? Because they buffed Arcanist, they buffed this, they're giving more AP here. You just build like a one-shot kind of board, which is kind of cool. The thing with the Arcanist carry is usually like extra AP is diminishing returns, but with Arcanist you really want a one-shot, right? Like Lux is really strong if she can one-shot and or two-shot like your opponent. And Zoe's scales off of killing opponents, so you want her to like really kill units aggressively. So having like a large amount of AP doesn't really go to waste with that comp, which is pretty nice. Like if you're rerolling towards those Arcanists. Re-enable Mind Over Matter. That's the other Arcanist one. It's like it gives you the I think so. And then Pandora's items. It gives 2 components. That's pretty good. Small changes to champs. So they buffed Lily a 3. These are just like 3-star changes, right? It's like, who cares, right? Like I hope I don't see a 3-star. Small augment changes. So they're just giving like extra units to a lot of these crest ones. So all these gold ones, they give emblems. I think these are like kind of really strong now, because a lot of times I didn't like taking the crest because it was like, what does this do? But it might make it situationally good, right? Because like, for example, let's say you get like a Dragon Lord is the one that stands out as being the most broken, because you gain a Dragon Lord emblem and you gain a Janna and a Diana, so you're literally off rip 3 Dragon Lord. It might be like an insta take 2-1, because that's really strong early game, as well as it caps really high late game, right? Stuff like Sage Crest might not be as good, right? But if you're playing like a Sage, like the Sage Silas build, and you see a Sage Crest later, getting like the copy of the Zyra and the Diana are really, really important, as well as can help stabilize you early game as well, right? So there's some of these that are like really strong, like Behemoth Crest. I don't like, you know, if like getting a Shen and a Thresh doesn't really matter that much to me, but like specifically like Dragon Lord seems like the biggest buff. Sage seems like kind of okay, right? Warden Crest giving a Jax a Mumu, it's like, who cares? It's like, if you don't have a Jax already and you're playing Vertical Warden, it's like, okay. And then yeah, Prismatic, they did the same thing, same changes. I think Prismatic Dragon Lord already gave Janna and Diana, which is why that one was pretty good to take usually. Lastly, oh man, I'm getting tired. For everybody stuck around in this video for the entire duration, thank you. Hopefully these patch notes were great. We're just gonna go, or hopefully like you have some idea of what you think is strong and what you like, and hopefully this was informative. Bug fixes, I think there was like 1 or 2 big ones that I saw here that were really good. This one, I thought they already fixed this, but I guess it was bugged or something. This one I didn't know about, but that's good. Where is it? This one was a big one. I never had this situation, but I've seen, I don't think it happened in my game, but it happened in a game I was watching. But this is like a bug, or I guess I'm not scouting, so I can never know if it happened in my game, but basically you're able to duplicate an item by like benching a unit with a masterwork upgrade, because basically when you would bench the unit and it would like change the item, they would like keep one of their items, and you basically got like a free item in addition to the radiant item. So it was fucked, and I know people maybe were bug abusing this because it was like a known bug, and I hate that, because like usually if you're bug abusing, like, you know, the only way you can get like punished is if like a Riot employee is in your game and bans you, you know what I mean? So like it just fucking sucks. I hate it. So that's a really big change that had to be changed. And then this other one here, the Nautilus sometimes casting his ability backwards. I thought it was like based on positioning. I didn't know it was like a bug or something, but apparently it's actually bugged, and that's big because that did happen to me a lot. Nautilus sometimes just fucking turns around and fucking whiffs, and he casts his ability and he's like stunning my backline, which doesn't get stunned from him. It is just so useless. That's crazy, right? So that's good. And then Zero doesn't matter. I didn't know about this Ornn one that it ends in a tie. Oh, and this one too, this, if you didn't know about it, so if you're like playing, like let's say this is the board, this is like you and this is your opponent, if you placed your carry in this corner, Kayn would always whiff if he was he wouldn't be able to target it until he targets like everybody else. Because like if you put your unit here and then you had a unit here, Kayn would like spin and it wouldn't hit your unit. And this was like the Kayn corner. And it was only situational, obviously, because like, you know, you have to position, you can't just position your units to try and like outwit the Kayn. You have to position your units to like to actually win the fight. But like it came into effect a lot, and I did it a lot. I don't think I ever talked about it in a VOD because it didn't show up in one of my VOD reviews, but this was a thing. So now they removed that, which is like a huge quality of life change. Anyways, thank you all for watching. This ends this patch review. Sorry if it's not like super interesting, like a high octane gameplay or anything like that, but hopefully it was somewhat enjoyable. And I do these like probably once every 2 weeks just to make sure everybody's informed about what's changing and what's happening with the game. We'll see how the patch plays out on Wednesday. I will try my best to play on Wednesday when it's the new patch. We'll see what happens. But like I said, there'll be a lot of art on my stream probably next week, so we'll see how that goes as well. Thanks for all the support, and have a great weekend / rest of the day / whenever you watch this. Bye.